The great debate.
Yes.
You know what you know what my real question is on the debate? To quote Shakespeare, to mute or not to mute? That is the question.
I love how that's the controversy. Oh, we're going to use it. They're going to use it. Oh my God. I'm like, we're not talking about policy or things that matter. We're talking about you guys being drama queens. Got it. Love it.
Look, on the one hand, so one of my arguments, especially in a monologue, is if you want a blood sport, let's get out the spears and the chains, right? But this is supposed to be about exchanging ideas. This is supposed to be sort of a meaningful interaction where people can discern differences and you can talk about policy issues. So do you like or not like the muted mic approach to these debates?
I don't like the muted mic. I think that, well, actually, my first thought is I don't like it because I want you to demonstrate either your lack or having of discipline in that position. Because if you're going to be out there, negotiating and fighting with Kim Jong-il and freaking Putin and all these other people, if you're an undisciplined person, I don't really want you leading my country. That's my opinion.
Okay, so what do you think? So where did you come down on? To mute or not to mute?
Oh, unmute. I think it should be unmuted.
And I was initially in that position, but I think I like the muted mic better because the problem is because it's become this blood sport. The muted mic at least enforces a little bit of decorum and demeanor in what has devolved into an ugly process. I've watched debates going back to, the Nixon debates in the 70s. I grew up in a very political family, and the debates have changed clearly. And most of the time, I will tell you, regardless of who you support, I walk away from most of those debates feeling that it didn't show our best selves. And you walk away feeling a little sullied, regardless of party. Right. To me, it's just because
totally.
You want an informed electorate. You want an informed So the mic to me, look, the fact that you have to enforce it is one thing, but I guess I like the muted mic. I think.
That's a reasonable argument. It's a reasonable argument to have. I don't know. I think that I will say that I did appreciate in the first debate that there was not the talking over of one another, that, people being over their skis, they couldn't dominate one another and try to filibuster and do dumb stuff. So yeah, okay. I can be persuaded. I can be
okay. Well,
persuaded. I'm really curious how it's going to go.
And my other question to you is, forget about the debate, but this is clearly what we brought up in the debate. On what issue or issues? All elections turn on certain issues, right? I mean, it's, James Carville, it's the economy, stupid, back in the Clinton years, right? It's a great line. I mean, I disagree with him politically, but I love the Raging Cajun. If you want to talk about someone who's unvarnished and just lays it out there.
At least you know where he stands.
My kind of dialogue. So what issue do you think that this election is going to turn on? Is it the economy?
That and immigration are the number one issues for all Americans, regardless of party. And I think it's going to be whoever can demonstrate that they have a better idea, a better plan. And, honestly, Kamala Harris is really attached to the Biden administration. It is the Biden-Harris administration. And we have the worst immigration crisis that I can remember in my lifetime, for sure. And I have family in Border Patrol in Texas, so they've seen, and it's worse than ever. We were literally just talking with a person. I want to be careful giving any identifiable information, but they're from the southern part of Texas. Let's just say and they have a ranch.
Wait, are they smoking a bong?
No bong smoking.
Because this woman's south of Austin. That's the southern part of Texas, isn't it?
No, they are in near the border. Okay.
So it's not the bong smoking woman running for office.
No. She's in South Austin in the ghetto. Okay. That's where she's running for office. Real talk, y'all. her district is very poor, and I have some feelings about this, but we'll save it. Oh my God, I totally just got myself totally sidetracked. What the heck was I talking about?
You were talking about this woman. You were not going to name names.
Oh, okay. So the people in the near the border, they one person, the neighbor got killed by, some cartel members running across his property. They have to walk around armed all the time to keep themselves safe, because they went in, killed the guy, and took his property, and then they're running freaking people over the border because he was right on the border. So yo, we need to get some control. And if Kamala Harris is just promising more of the same, people are not going to be for it, no matter how bad they want abortion. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think is going to be the topic?
Well, first of all, I think during the primaries, the number one issue I don't think is going to be the economy. I think people think the economy is problematic, but I think immigration and that touches on so many things, right? I mean, if you look at gun sales,
the economy. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Excuse me. I grew up in a household where you had to interrupt each other to be heard. So bring it on. No problem. Bring it on.
So far, this issue, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. But immigration touches so many things, including security, right? There are record gun sales. Not only are there record gun sales, sort of generally speaking, there are record handgun sales amongst women. Right. There are record handgun sales within the Black community. There are so there's a reason, because this is sort of Maslow's hierarchy, right? The first most important thing is safety or survival, right? But the other thing, because I think people inherently understand the old saying that a divided house shall not stand, right? Well, neither does a divided country. A divided country is, so it's all of that. So I think the issue to me, and we saw that in the primary, certainly, if immigration is the number one issue in New Hampshire in their primary, which is, we have a border issue, but when we have a lot of people coming over the border, it's like 400. Right, which is big for up here, but I think it turns on. I think it turns on that. But
I can't. The economy. People are hurting. We're having record unemployment when they restate the numbers, and there's less 800,000 jobs than they said. You hear these numbers, right? Oh, the unemployment is low. And I'm like, bruh, I've got clients who have had to lay off their employees because projects have fallen through, because funding has dried up. What world are you living in?
Look, the interesting thing is I think that Vice President Harris is going to try to present herself as the change candidate.
Which is
going to be that. Look, it's going to be an interesting trick. How are you the change candidate when you are 3 years, almost 4 years in office? And look, maybe, look, there's a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you. It's old, made of wood, but in really good condition. But, you have confidence in the electorate that they see through most things. And the truth is that this election is going to turn on 5 or 6 states from the Electoral College anyway, right? It's the Rust Belt states, but I still come back to the fact that picking someone like Governor Walz as your running mate, passing over the moderate Jewish guy in Pennsylvania, says a lot about where I think the Democratic Party is. But look, it's going to, maybe the debate will change some people's minds at this point. But I don't know that do you know anybody who's undecided? Like, you go to the parties or you hang with people, people are undecided?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I was actually shocked this week, Robert. Another friend of mine, a gal from church, real smart gal, real smart. Okay. I'm sure she thinks of herself as well-informed. And she said she was planning on voting for Kamala Harris. And I was like, really, that's interesting. Why is that? And so we talked about it a little bit, and she said, but I'm willing to have a conversation. I said, well, let's talk about that. Because she said, I don't want to vote for a Democrat just because I'm Black, but I don't feel like I can vote for Trump because I'm a Christian. And I was like, if you are saying that values, morals, and policy, that you're voting, based on your religious morals and policy, you have to vote for Donald Trump, because the other candidate wants abortion up until the point of birth, is responsible for the debacle on the border. If you care about human dignity, honestly, Donald Trump is the candidate. If you had told me in 2016 that sentence would have come out of my mouth, I would have laughed in your face.
So, but she's undecided on it, because I don't know any undecided voters. I mean, look, I'm all for, look, people don't have to vote the way I vote. I'm, look, I'm for civil discourse. Let's,
Sure.
We can agree or we can disagree. I think we've lost that ability as a country, and that's part of the problem here. And that's why, we're going to segue into Samantha Edison Israel Appreciation Day, which, I'm the type of person that's rather focus on what we agree on and not what we disagree on, because I don't agree with anyone. Is there anyone, including your wonderful husband, that you agree with on everything?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? We were like disagreeing 5 minutes ago. What are you talking about? But that's the point, right? What you're pointing to, Robert, is why we're supposed to have limited government, small federal government, big local government, so that people can come together in communities of like-minded people and govern themselves as they see fit. That's why I'm such a strong proponent for states' rights and restoring our federal government to the size that it should be.
The size of a pea works for me. Just kidding.